A new affordability report shows that nearly 2/3 of the average San Diegan's paycheck goes towards owning a home right now, and I bet that comes as no surprise to you. Believe it or not, the data shows we're making some progress though, and at the same time, deals in San Diego are falling apart at a record rate. Inside both these stories is something most people aren't seeing yet, and if you're buying or selling in this market, you need to hear it. Both these topics and more covered in this week's San Diego Market Matters, and I'm Karl Kyler, your San Diego Realtor. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel yet, now's a great time to do that, or hang around until the end and do it then. Either way, thank you for being here. Now, let's dig into this. Kicking things off with this affordability report because the headline number is brutal. And if that's all you walk away with, you'll miss the most interesting part of the story. A new report from Adam was released covering the affordability across the entire country for the first quarter of 2026. And here's the national picture. The national median home price is sitting around $360,000. And to afford that and keep your housing costs below the standard 28% of income threshold, a buyer needs to earn $84,230 a year. And 97% of the counties analyzed were less affordable than their own historic averages. Now bring that to San Diego and those numbers get significantly worse. Per this report, the median home price here in San Diego is $875,250. Buying that home takes 65.7% of the average San Diegan's wages. That's practically 2/3 of a paycheck and more than double the national affordability threshold. That sunshine tax here is for real. And it's not improving quickly. Gas prices are up, the cost of living keeps climbing, and affordability is slightly worse right now than it was a few months ago, and that's showing up in people's everyday lives. But here's what the headlines are missing. Between the first quarter of 2025 and the first quarter of 2026, wages in San Diego grew faster than home prices. San Diego made Adam's list of the most populous counties where wage growth outpaced home price growth year over year. That has not been the story for most of the past several years, to say the least. This isn't a sign that affordability is fixed, not even close. When you're still spending 65.7% of your income on housing, wages catching up slightly is not a solution, but it's a signal that the gap has stopped widening, and that context matters. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell described the current job market as showing a degree of stability. Net job creation in the private sector is effectively at zero, but unemployment is still sitting in the low 4% range. People are keeping their jobs, they're collecting their annual raises, and those modest, consistent increases finally started showing up in the data. Not because anything dramatic changed, but because home prices, their growth slowed down enough for wages to finally start catching up. So if you're sitting on the sidelines waiting for prices to drop to a comfortable level before you buy, you should get yourself a cushion or a pillow because you might be sitting there for a while. San Diego's inventory situation has actually gotten worse heading into 2026. Fewer homes have come to market in the first 3 months of this year compared to the same period last year when inventory was still growing month over month. Less supply keeps price support in place, and that's not changing anytime soon. But here's the message worth holding on to. Wages are inching ahead of home prices. Rates, despite recent volatility from geopolitical uncertainty, have trended lower over the past year. Every month that goes by, buyer purchasing power is improving. Slowly, but it's moving in the right direction, which is still improvement. The buyers who break into this market in the next wave won't be the ones who waited for prices to fall. They'll be the ones who saved aggressively, kept their overhead low, made sacrifices, maybe even moved back in with family to stack cash faster. When they're ready, they're going to step into the market where their dollar goes a little bit further than it did the year prior. Moving on to our next topic, a growing trend in our market is happening inside active deals. The growing rate of cancellation tells a hidden story that you need to hear if you're a buyer or seller here in San Diego. More than 42,000 home purchase agreements fell through nationally in February. That's 13.7% of all homes that went under contract that month, the highest February cancellation rate on record going back to 2017. And San Diego's right in line with this trend. Here, 13.8% of contracts were canceled in February, up from 12% a year ago. That's nearly a 2-point jump in 12 months. Roughly 1 in every 7 deals in San Diego right now doesn't make it to closing. Now, what makes San Diego numbers interesting is that this isn't playing out the way it should or you'd expect. In a low inventory market, you normally see buyers hold on to deals tighter. The scarcity of available homes usually creates a psychological pull to see things through. If something is rare, you protect it, but that psychology isn't showing up here. And the reason isn't that buyers have a long list of options, obviously. It's that they're financially maxed out. When you're already stretching to pay a premium for a home in San Diego, you cannot also absorb a $25,000 roof replacement, a $20,000 bill in cast iron sewer work, foundation issues, and deferred termite damage on top of it. New windows, fresh paint, and updated countertops don't move the needle for buyers who are already at the top of their budget. The home has to actually be worth what they're paying. And a lot of homes in this market aren't holding up under that type of scrutiny right now. Here's what's actually happening behind the cancellation numbers. Buyers are making aggressive offers to beat out their competition, sometimes offering over the asking price, sometimes stretching themselves and their budgets just to get under contract. Then the inspection comes, and when it turns up major issues, the math stops working. A buyer who offered at the ceiling of what they could qualify for cannot absorb tens of thousands of dollars in post-close repairs. So what do they have to do? They cancel. Not because another home is around the corner, but because they can't afford to close on this one as is. I've seen this firsthand. Listing agents have been calling me directly after we've made offers on their listings and they chose to go with someone else. Sometimes it's,
"Hey, is your buyer still interested? The buyer we accepted is getting a little shaky."
Other times it's,
"The buyer we went with is about to cancel. Would your client like to step in?"
so what do you do with this if you're a buyer? First off, don't completely move onto a home if you've lost. Ask your agent to stay in communication with the listing agent. A ready backup buyer is the path of least resistance for a listing agent who doesn't want to go back to market. Those calls I described are real opportunities for buyers who stayed engaged instead of just walking away and completely forgetting about the property. If you're a seller, here's what your agent needs to be doing. Qualifying the buyer thoroughly before you accept an offer. An offer that looks great on paper but comes from a buyer who is already stretched to their limit is a risk, not a win. When a deal looks too good to be true, pay attention to that instinct. Now, your agent should also be talking to you before you list your home about a pre-market inspection. Termite work, foundation issues, plumbing, deferred maintenance. Identify and address the major items before buyers have to see them. It takes away the ammunition that's causing deals to fall apart mid-escrow right now. Buyers in this market are maxed out. Affordability is at its highest. The homes that close cleanly are the ones that are priced right and show up without surprises. And that's a wrap for this week's San Diego Market Matters. Now, I got a question for you in regards to that affordability report. How do you feel about today's market? Do you feel like we're getting more financial breathing room, or is it the other way around? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. Now, if you got value out of this, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you're looking to buy or sell here in San Diego, I'd love the opportunity to work with you. My contact info is in the description below. Feel free to reach out. As always, I'm Karl, your San Diego realtor. I'll see you in the next video. Shh.